You ready?
Oh, they recording this now?
I love that you're nervous.
No, I didn't even realize it. I gotta remember that they're not just sitting there to be.
True. It's cool.
Okay,
Cool.
all right.
No worries. No worries. You do it wrong. The more and more we talk, I realize, especially now that I've gotten older, that I'm really just an extension of you. There's times where, especially when you laugh, I vividly remember there was a point in time where we weren't talking as much as you would have liked, because you want to call me every day.
Yes, I do.
I'm like, just text me. It's much easier if you just hit me up like that. But I remember you FaceTimed me out the blue, and in the moment, I wasn't really in the best headspace, and I forgot what it was that we talked about. But you laughed so hard. I remember FaceTime, man, like you like dropped your head back and started rolling. It was one of those things where it just felt like home. It felt like I was looking at myself. And then the more we talked about things that matter, I realized that we felt the same way about things that matter. And that is not coincidence. And it's something that ideally what I want to do for folks, some of which don't know us, and even for the folks that do, kind of paint the picture of our journey together and our experience together, because we kind of raised each other as kids. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily know about. I think it's immensely important to the person that I've become today.
Uh-huh.
And more importantly, let's start from the very, very beginning. 16 years old, prego, but you know who. What was going through your mind?
When I first found out I was pregnant?
Mm-hmm. And be honest. Don't make it sound cute. Be 100, because there's going to be other 16-year-old moms that'll be like, that is not how she felt. So I want you to be 100.
Okay, wait. When I first... Okay, first of all...
Yes.
Can I...
You can say whatever you want. Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, probably a week later, I realized that I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't take any steps towards confirming it.
How'd you realize so quick?
Because my body I felt different.
Okay.
And yeah, so I felt different. We're going to leave it at that. So I probably didn't do anything about it to confirm it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably for about 4 or 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I think more so it was because I didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was scared of your nana.
Yeah.
Well,
understandable.
Yes. So when I did finally go to the doctor, and they told me that I was pregnant. And back then I went by myself, because back then you could, I guess. I don't know if it's different now, but at 16 you could go to the doctor. I think we had a Planned Parenthood or something, but I had a regular doctor, gynecologist.
Yes.
Anyway, I was scared when the doctor told me that I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I tried and made an appointment with this company, I don't know who, or organization, because I thought I was going to be able to give you up for adoption. I never forget, the lady name was Carol. I don't know her last name. I just remember it because it's Nana's name.
Yeah.
And I never forget, she did an interview with me, and she asked me a bunch of questions, wanted to know about my family, wanted to know, about the people in our family. And when I explained to her and told her how many siblings that Nana had, and she wanted to know how, what was their employment, was they employed? I said, well, a lot of them, have their own business.
Yeah.
And pretty much in a
not
nutshell.
struggling, essentially.
Yes,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yes, they weren't struggling.
Yeah.
So after the interview, she kindly said, no, you don't qualify. You can't give your child up because you have too much support. You don't have no problems.
Yeah.
She was like, you're just scared, but you don't have no problems. Your support system is very large, and you don't qualify. And all I could think about was, Nana gonna whoop my ass.
Just facts. Just facts, though.
I was more afraid of a whooping.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about raising you. I was thinking about the whooping I was going to have to get.
Yes.
Right.
Like,
even though I'm
you
16 and pregnant, and she probably wouldn't have whooped me, but in my mind, I was thinking about a whooping. And I went home, And I told her.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I said, Mom, I'm having a baby. She was like, I ain't ready to be nobody grandmother at no 40.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay.
You know what's funny? Well, it's not funny. I remember Nana saying this to me. I remember
Yeah,
Nana was
she was
saying, like,
adamant.
I was supposed to be no grandma at 40.
Exactly.
She was salty for years.
That was her like lecture for like a whole week.
Decade.
I
Like
had
a
to
whole
hear her.
decade.
No, I had to hear her say, "I ain't ready to be nobody grandma,"
Mm-hmm.
at 40 for like a whole week until she took me to the doctor and thought she was gonna change the outcome.
Yeah.
When we went
It
to the
didn't work.
doctor said, "Don't care what you ain't ready to do. This is what you're about to do."
Yeah.
And he said, "You're gonna be a grandmother because she's too far along. She can't get no abortion. She can't do. You're about to be a grandmother." And after that, Dana she was fine with it.
Of course.
She was fine with it. She didn't, and if she wasn't fine with it, she
got
didn't
over
express
it. She made it work. Yeah.
She just made it work. It was a trying time for her because she was married at the time or what have you, but she made it work. I made her poor, but she made it work.
But how did you personally feel? Okay, so there's a mixture, but let me piggyback off of what you said.
Mm-hmm.
So now, you're gonna keep it. You're gonna keep me.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you plan for that? How'd you what
I
was
didn't.
the actual?
If I can go back,
Mm-hmm.
to when I sat down with Carol and Carol told me no,
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't qualify. I remember getting on a bus and she was downtown, so I remember getting on number like 13 bus.
Mm-hmm. Jersey.
In Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking to myself, it's gonna be me and you. It's gonna be me and you against the world. And I'm talking to myself as I paid for the fare to get onto the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm walking to go find a seat. And I'm just like, it ain't nothing I can do. It's just gonna be me and you. Like, we just gonna have to do this because I can't get no help nowhere. So I'm gonna just have to do the damn thing.
It's gonna make it work.
We just gonna have to make it work. And I felt scared, but I felt empowered. I felt obligated. I felt it was my mission for me to just do the best that I can because that's all that I can do because there was no plan. There was nobody wrote it out.
Facts.
There was no how-tos.
There's no blueprint.
There was no blueprint. And I was just like, we just got to do this.
It's one of those things where, as the story further develops and we break into some of these stories, it's obvious that there was a certain level of conviction that you possessed, even as a 16-year-old, that allowed us to get to where we're at today. That's something I definitely want us to expand on. It's because folks need to know that it's possible. Yet at the same time, I would like to share the details as to how you allowed yourself to get to such point. So, fast forward a little bit, I would say, I'm born. What's going through your mind? Head big, body long, skinny.
Ripped me from the rooter to the tutor. I was just like, OMG. And, okay, you're born.
Yes.
I'm clueless.
Yes.
I drop you,
Mm-hmm.
taking a nap, holding you, and you roll over to the floor.
Oh, whoa, wait.
You probably was 2 days.
What?
You were constipated. I was constipated. I was taking a nap.
I didn't know about this part.
Yeah, I bet. We was at Lisa's house. At this point, Nana, we were staying at your Aunt Al's because she had moved. We moved in with Aunt Alma, and we had stayed
Elizabeth?
and we had stayed in East Orange at Lisa's house. And I was sick, and you was sick, and I fell asleep with you in my arms, and you was heavy. My arm fell, you fell, but I was everything was new to me. Everything was new to me. Just looking at you and just trying to figure out, like, what am I supposed to do with all of this? It took me to another place because I had no clue, and I didn't ask questions. I just knew that I just needed to be. I felt like I had to be equipped. Figure out a plan. I had to have a plan. I had to do something. I had to provide. I had to love and care for you, but I didn't have a plan, and I wasn't. And it took some time, I think, for me to grasp just how big raising you
was gonna be. So the thing that I definitely want to touch base upon, and I can tell it's a emotional experience, and it brings up a lot of feelings, a lot of happiness, a lot of like tribulations, and I can see that your eyes are getting a little watery, or these lights are just super bright.
Yeah, they are.
But there's a mixture of your ability to so quickly switch your mindset from like victim or problem oriented to solution oriented, and like walking through that process of
it wasn't a fast switch.
yes.
You were probably up until you were about 1.5. You were existing amongst me.
Yes.
If I can say that. You were just
yes, you can
existing.
100. I want you to be as
yes,
honest
you
as
were
possible.
existing amongst me.
Yes.
Because the first, say, at least 2 years, but the first, say you were probably about 3-4 months. And I realized that I needed to get myself together.
Yes.
I felt like I was so broken
Yes.
because I had been like mentally, physically,
Through so
emotionally, you name it. I felt like crap, if
Yes.
I can just say so. I just
Yes.
really felt like every bone in my body was shattered.
Yes.
I just felt like I literally was going through depression, going through anxiety, was having emotional breakdowns still on a level that just wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
It had been my way of living, and it had been how it just has been what I was doing, say, first 17 years of my life.
Yeah.
Or not the whole 17 years, but for
Still.
most of it.
Yes.
And it had started consuming me. And I realized that I had to go get help.
Yes.
I had to get help because I couldn't be a proper parent to you
Yes.
if I'm broken down
Yes.
and beat up.
Yes.
Like, I just couldn't do it. Like, I'm literally balled up in knots, crying for hours, days, every damn day, all damn day long, not knowing why. At that time, in my brain, didn't know why.
Yes.
And so I went and I don't know if I went to a therapist, and I had to go to the therapist every day for probably a whole year. I had to go Mondays and Fridays, every single day,
5 days a week.
5 days a week for a whole year. And then the following year is when he weaned me off. But I did have to go, and I went for a year, and then, well, longer than a year. So during this time, the things that I discussed with him that I found to be difficult when it came to with being your parent and raising you is, I explained to him, I says, he's such a happy child. I says, and he always wanted to hug and kiss me. And I used to be like, you know what, that shit really just irks the shit out of me. It irks me. It pierces my skin. And I'm like, and that's not what he needs. That's not what he wants. And I need to learn how to embrace that. I need to know how to feed and give him more of what he's giving me.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to taint him with my stuff. Just because I don't know how doesn't mean I'm not supposed to learn how or not supposed to do better.
Yes.
So that first year of me going to the therapist, I utilized that to communicate with him, to help me, to be able to help me with you in a way. And it was more so I reached out to him to have him guide me in, what do you call it? Like, guide me into how to be nurturing.
Yes.
Like,
and emotionally available.
Emotionally available to you. So, the one thing he said is every day, go home, hug him, kiss him, tell him you love him. And I was like, but that feels so unnatural to me. And he says, just do it every day.
Yes.
Until it becomes natural.
Yes.
And it did become natural. And that was good for me at that point. After about a whole year of therapy, then I went back to school, and then I went back to school. I think I got my diploma, and
you did, because you were you were working during the daytime and going to school at night. I remember that.
And I had gotten a job, And I never forget.
Well, wait. I don't remember it. I remember you telling me. Let me not act like I was.
Yeah, you was
Oh,
little.
yeah.
You was little.
Let me be clear about that. I'm supposed to be like, whoa. You remember
No.
being a year old?
Yes,
Like, no,
I
I
did
wasn't
tell
like
you that.
that.
I did tell
Yes.
you about that. But
Yes.
I never forget being so proud and happy. Go into his office and like, I'm about to get my diploma. And the thing is I hid all these things from him. But I came to
Who's him?
the therapist that I
Yes.
spoke to.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm about to get my diploma and I'm getting my driver's license and I'm getting a job. And he was like, no, you can't do that. And I'm just like, what? And he just was so adamant about telling me what I couldn't do, that I wasn't ready, I wasn't prepared. And in my mind, this is about a year and a half in, I'm thinking, but I've been coming here every
Of
day
therapy?
of
Yes.
therapy. And I'm like, but I've been.
And he still told you that you
And he
weren't ready.
still told me I wasn't ready.
Okay.
But I progressed because he put in work. He did his work. I'm going to give that to him. I really feel bad that I don't recall his name. But he just pretty much was like, you're not ready. You can't do that. I says, but I need a job, and I need my education. He was like, you're not ready. And I never forget leaving his office hot. I was pissed. If there's a moment in your life that you can claim that changed your life or changed the direction in which your life went, that was it. I had to be about 18, about 18, walking up Lyons Avenue, hotter than a mug. And I cried, but I was hotter than a mug. It was a different kind of cry, the cries that I usually cry. And I think initially I thought I was mad at him, but what I was mad about was how he perceived me. I knew that what he saw when he said that I couldn't, it wasn't that he was saying I was inadequate. What he saw was the victim that sat on his couch, that opened up to him. He saw that little girl. He saw my pain. Yeah.
But he didn't see your strength.
He didn't see my strength, but he saw that pain. And to me, I was just, I cursed. I was so hot. I was so hot because I felt like this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I've cried long enough over stuff that other people have said or other people have done or other people's perception of me for so long. And here it is, I'm trying to accomplish something and do something and take control over my life. And I'm being told no again. I'm being told that I'm not ready, but I'm being told I'm not ready because he see a victim. He see a broken person, which I was 100% looking back now. No, I wasn't ready. And when I say I wasn't ready, in that if you are going through depression or have anxiety or whatever you might be going through, it is a process, and it is not for the patient to say when you can start and when you should finish.
Facts.
Because it's you have to go through the full process. It's like a person who's on antidepressant and they've been on it for 3 months and they're like, I feel bad, I'm gonna get off. Well, no, you're gonna go back to where you were.
Yeah.
But anyway, to get back to what I was saying to you is that at that point, I was so mad because I was so tired of being a victim, to the point that I just say, I'm not going back no more. I cannot stay in this place. I have to elevate myself. I have to move above being someone's victim because I have to raise this child. He's depending on me to be more than just a victim. And I can't be his mother crying somewhere in somebody's corner trying to figure out why people said, did. That's just not the avenue that I could stay on and do the job that I wanted to do with you. I couldn't. I was ready to take on the responsibility. I was draining your Nana because she was supporting us during this process. Every once in a while she'll say, Vet, I can't. This is becoming too much, because at this point, that year and a half, I wasn't working. So she was taking care of both of us. And I would always say, Ma, just give me a few more, just give me a little bit more time. And I remember you was probably like, again, around 1, and I kept thinking to myself, this is my calm. This is my calm before I'm about to do some shit. I knew I was about to do some shit. And I
Okay.
just kept telling, I'd be like, Nana, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more time. I just need a little bit more time. I know this is hard on you, but I just need a little bit more time. Because I knew once I started, I wasn't going to
And
stop.
by started, you mean started therapy or started?
Started my process of being able to be at least a whole mother to you.
Mm,
To be an, an a consciously, actively raising you parent.
mm-hmm.
Because prior to that, I wasn't that. I wasn't. I wasn't a whole person.
Yes.
I wasn't. You wasn't my focus.
Yeah.
My pain was my focus,
Yes.
and I needed to rise above that pain if I was going to accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish when it came to raising you. And I had a long laundry list of shit that we was just gonna have to do. I had a long laundry list of what you weren't gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
There was a whole lot of what you weren't gonna be because at that time in our life, it was 1989 around that time, the media and what they spoke on about what you were supposed to be and who
Mm-hmm.
I was going to be
Mm-hmm.
was just not who I saw us being.
100%. I
You
vividly
know,
remember. I vividly remember there was a point in time early in the game, and I actually have mentioned this in my class at work. You had said you're not going to be another statistic.
yeah,
You're not going to be dead or in jail by 20. That's just not
that's
the
not your
life that
option.
I.
That's not
No,
an
that's
option.
just not even
Mm-mm.
on the table. And I
Mm-mm.
vividly remember at a young age being like, that's a lot, mom. Like, I was like, that's a little
But back,
intense. But don't get me wrong. I totally know where you're coming from. But I would say by the time I reached 8 and understood that those narratives that what a young black man is supposed to be in America are just so constantly played everywhere. It was one of those things of like, I get it now. Like you kind of prepared me for the messaging that was going to be
mm-hmm,
forced down my throat
mm-hmm,
and prepared me to be what I needed to be and who I needed to see myself as.
options.
It's really interesting to hear how intentional and how thoughtful that process was of you building yourself up. And because in my lifetime, I've never seen you be weak, ever. And you did a really phenomenal job being strong for me. And hearing you speak to how much effort, how much time it took for you to get to that point, I just want you to know that you're above and beyond in reference to that. There was never ever a point in time where I didn't think I could lean on you. There was never ever a point. You were so strong. You helped me lean on myself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm,
It was one of
mm-hmm.
those things where, in the moment, I had seen you do so much, and being so close to you, let me know that I could do anything too. Like there was a certain point in time where I realized that like my father wasn't in the picture, wasn't going to be in the picture, and I guess I had the awareness to realize all it was that you had to do and all it was that you had to be. And even at a young age, there was a sincere admiration. There was a I remember that time when I was 5 years old and we had just moved to Jersey. No, we had just moved to Union, and I think you were working at Jersey Transit
Mm-hmm.
late nights.
Mm-hmm.
And the one day I had just come home from school, and or maybe you had just got off of work. Either ways, I was like, "Ma, I miss you." And literally that week, like literally that week, I think Aunt Crystal was living with us at the
Yeah.
time, and literally that week you left that job and you found a new one, and you were so good at being what I needed you to be, and then I'd say maybe a year or two later after that, and I don't know if we had had a conversation or if I just had reached like an understanding as to like what it was you needed to be and how you needed to provide and also mentor and nurture. And they reached the point where I'd say maybe I was about 7 years old and you got that job at that
Pinex, I think.
yeah, yeah, that computer company. And it was like a decent drive away. And I just remember it was almost as though we were a team.
We were. You were my motivation.
I understood what it was that you needed to do and all the things that you were trying to be for me. And it what's interesting is, and I mean this sincerely, it wasn't a lack of support ever. But when you were there and the time that we did have to spend together, there was an extra level of gratitude and appreciation that I had to know to not take this for granted because one, you worked so hard and you're out here doing all things, but two, you were more than enough. And you did a really, really good job at being everything that I needed you to be and then some.
I raised you, I have to say, purposefully.
Yes. I mean, super in like from jump.
From jump. When your father, you had to be, I don't know, if a month, and he came by. I never forget. He worked across the street from where we were living at that time, and I remember it was almost like an all or nothing ultimatum that was put at me.
He gave me one of those too, like 22 years later.
Yeah, and I recall, and I just, it's the maturity, I guess, at 16 that I was introverted a lot growing up, so I just spent a lot of time, evaluating other people and what they do and don't do, or what I want and don't. But anyway, at 16, I knew, or 17 at the time, that wasn't an option. It wasn't going to be, we're going to either be together or I can't do this type thing. You're just not going to be here. And at that point, when I told him that it wasn't going to be an all or nothing, I'll do it. I'll take care of it. Is when I realized that now I have to be two people to you. And because I have to now be two people to you, I have to step my game up. There couldn't be any slacking. So I had to provide you with everything I could possibly provide you with that would allow you to walk through life with your heads up high, that would allow you to be powerful. I needed you to be powerful. I needed you to be free. I needed you to have options. I needed you to make choices.
Facts.
I needed you to be able to walk through life, and no matter what society said you were supposed to be or what society said where you would end up, I needed you to prove them wrong.
Facts.
And
Facts.
I just knew that the job set before me was very large, and that it was going to take a lot from me, and I wasn't going to allow news to tell me who I was going to be or who my child was going to be. And I just needed you to be able to go into life. I needed you to be able to go into life and walk and go wherever you wanted to go and know that you belong. I just needed you to be confident. I needed to make sure that you had the confidence, that you were educated enough, that you was pride, that you had pride, that you had confidence, that you were open to embrace everyone. I didn't want you to just know one language. I needed you to know at least two languages. I didn't want you to have just all Black friends. I needed you to have friends of every nationality, because there is something you can learn from everyone.
Facts.
I don't need you to be prejudiced. Oh, well, they just, so they gonna be this. No, I need you to sit down, go to their house, eat food with them, be their friend, talk to them, embrace them, because there's something to learn from
everybody,
and there is something that you can teach them. I needed you to travel. I made sure that you did all of these things because I needed you to know that you owned the world. I knew already that the world was going to take from you and tell you who you was and how you was going to be acting and where you belong. But I needed you to tell the motherfuckers, I'm here.
Facts. It's just
And
point,
I'ma
it's point
own my
blank period.
space.
Just point blank
I
period.
own my space.
Mm-hmm.
And I can eat where you eat. And I
Mm-hmm.
can go where you go.
Mm-hmm.
I can own what you own.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't belong in this box.
Period.
Point blank.
Period.
That's it. Like I meant that. You know,
I
you
mean it too.
you were one humming a rap. I think that was it. It was a rap from there. I swear to you, I think I was in the kitchen.
I think I knew all the words to it too. Whatever that song was.
Whatever it was, you ain't know
I
yet.
was watching the box. I was watching the box. Which I know about the box.
Look, I said, is this motherfucker in here humming a rap? I said, is he humming a rap? And he don't know his ABCs, 1, 2, 3s? Man, I went out and bought a book.
I vividly
I
remember.
bought all of these kindergarten workbooks,
Mm-hmm.
made copies of them, of every last page. From that point on, I said, you will not hum a rap before you know your ABCs and 1, 2, 3. You can't even talk, dude, and you humming a rap? I was like, it's just not. It's not. That's not how we about to do this right now. And from there, and I just was like, every single day,
Yeah.
I was on you.
I remember the reading, the writing, and the arithmetic.
You had to every day.
I remember not even every day during the summertime.
Every day. I
You
was
make me
not
come
playing.
in. Yeah, you made me come in. I did at least an hour of it. The multiplication, the times tables.
Yeah,
That's
every
what we
day.
called them. I
Every
vividly,
day.
and I could still envision the 1 times 1, the 2 times 2. I would make the chart. 12 times 12 was 144, and I would do that. Like the whole.
You were 5.
I knew them all. I knew
Reading,
'em
writing,
all.
adding, subtracting, and knowing your
Mhm.
timetables by the time you were 5.
Yes, I
Because
knew how to
you-
learn.
I needed you
knew
to
how
have
learn.
options. I needed
Yes.
you to have options.
I knew how to learn.
Options. And a street corner wasn't one.
Facts. One thing that I definitely want to touch on, and I want to highlight, because you said that you had made that decision when you met up with my father again. Let's say I was a month old or 2 months old, and you knew that you wasn't going to have him end out of my life just because you knew that was going to be more dangerous.
Yes.
Than him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like him being a bad dad.
Exactly.
is
him being him feeling that he can be an option.
yes.
Him feeling
it's a
like
problem.
he can place you and make you optional. The only way you could step up to do your job was if you was to be able to stay with me.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I'm not freaking with you like that.
Yeah, like
and, and if that's what you want, then you go find that somewhere else, because I didn't take raising you lightly. It wasn't. I didn't need him in my life. I needed him in your life. Oof. And if he felt like being in your life was an option, then I felt like he didn't need to be there, because that's me reworking. That's me going back
and doing more work for
have
yourself.
To do more work, because now I got to explain why he ain't show up. I got to wipe your tears because he didn't show up to the football. I ain't doing that. Like, this is a whole big responsibility. It's a whole responsibility that I am not about. You're not about to add to this.
Facts.
I'm struggling already trying to put bandages on myself to be a whole person enough to be able to raise him. You ain't about to add fuel to my fire.
And that's the point that I definitely want to highlight is, though you weren't your whole self yet, though after that you were still going through at least 1.5 years or 5 days a week therapy.
During that time,
you knew who you had the potential to be. You knew what it wasn't going to be. That said, you still knew that you needed to build yourself up. And that's something right there that I think folks on a similar path, and even not on a similar path, folks of which know that intrinsically deep down inside they know who it is that they need to be, but they need to get that work done in order for them to do that. Folks need to know that yes, you must. You
do the work.
Can't skip it. But what I loved was, it wasn't that you did to work. It wasn't that you did the work and then had those thoughts. You had those thoughts. You knew there was work to be done in order for you to live up to the promise that you made to yourself and to me. And that's tremendous. That's the. I still don't know how.
I still don't know.
I still, at the age of 16, I don't like how. The emotional intelligence.
I was emotionally, I was emotionally beat down and broken. When I say it, I promise you, if for me to explain it, the only thing I can say is it was like as if every bone in my body was shattered. And I had to put those bones together, hold them together with big ass Band-Aids so that I can, and put on a face to do what I had to do. Like, I literally would just sit there and just be like, I had to elevate myself. I had to take myself up, take me and lift me higher than the pain and that I was in. I couldn't be a person in pain. I couldn't be no one's victim. I couldn't be mad at a damn soul. I couldn't, because all of that to me was just bullshit. Stuff that I had no control over.
Let them know.
I had no control over that. Well, that day that I told you I was walking up Lyons Avenue when I left my therapist,
You was heated.
I was heated. I went home and wrote every last person who ever hurt me, every last person, every tear I cried because of what they said or didn't say or did or didn't do. Every last one. And some of them who I didn't write, I went to see. And I said, listen, this is what happened. This is what you did. This is how it affected me. But we good. Because I can't even carry around anger for your ass. Like, I got mad work to do. This little boy, he got limbs and shit. Like he gotta eat. You know, like, I can't be mad at you. Like, I can't even be mad at you. Like, you caused me a whole lot of pain and I'm fucked up behind it. But guess what? I'm bigger than that. Like, I don't even have time to deal with you right now. You know, I don't have time to, I can't be that. I can't be the outcome of somebody else's shit.
Yes.
I have to become my own shit, and I got another motherfucker that I gotta make shit happen for.
Bout.
Period.
Yes.
And that's how, and that's just how it had to go. I say hi to everybody now. I can pound you now. I'm good, because you have to. I think when you're in, no matter what life gives you, you can really make the best of it.
I 100% agree.
You can rise above it. You may not have the choice. You may not can't control certain situations, certain things that happen to you, but there's certain things that you can control. There are certain, you can put yourself in a whole nother place. I'm not saying run from your problems. Sit on that damn table and talk to whoever you got to talk to and get through whatever you have to get through. I'm not saying not handle it.
Acknowledge them.
Acknowledge it. Feel
and work through it. Yes.
But don't sit in it.
No.
Because you're going to hurt yourself. And you just staggering. You're just staying there.
Yes.
You're not going anywhere. And I looked at you as, you was my motivation. You know, you've always say how you looked at me, but you were my motivation. You were my reason why I couldn't be no one's victim. You was my reason why I needed you to be overeducated. Like, the reason why I have to, you talk and I'm in a dictionary, or the hell. But at the end of the day, I didn't want you to be as smart as me. I needed you to be smarter than me. I needed you to be able to be, I needed you to have, and I said this to you before, to have the opportunities I wasn't allowed to have. I needed you to be able to open up doors that people said you couldn't freaking open.
Yes.
I needed that, and I needed to provide you with that. And if I just needed to make sure that you had the opportunity to do all of that. And most importantly is, I didn't want my shortcomings, my scars, to scar you. And I didn't want them to be your shortcomings. I didn't want you to be limited to the exposure that only I had. I wanted you to be exposed to everything, to have everything. I wanted you to have more than what I keep saying it, more than what they said you were supposed to have. Because that was very important to me. That was just very important to me. I felt like growing up, my growth was stunted, and I didn't want yours to be, because I didn't want you to wear my fears or my insecurities. I just needed you to have exposure to everything. I wanted you to walk around and pick and choose which room you wanted to be in, and walk around and pick and choose where you want to go. I didn't want no one to have to dictate to you where you're going to be at. I wanted you to look around and always have options to be who you wanted to be. Yeah, there's a room with a bunch of millionaires. I don't know if I want to go in there today. But to have the option to say, I don't know if I want to go there today. I just needed you to have that. I needed you to have that. That was very important to me. And I felt like as long as I can give you things, or at least provide or open you up to opportunities or equip you with, not provide for you, but equip you with what you need to succeed, then I was good.
This is like it's like a part of me emotionally is a little like overwhelmed in a good way, just because not only is it like everything that I needed to hear, but we've never had like to this degree a conversation about it to like this level.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough to play the interviewer role and the son role. So right now I'm just gonna be the son. And like you've just done all that. Like there's a it's crazy. Like it's like what you're saying are the things that I espouse all the time. You don't know that I say these things.
No, I
You're not.
don't.
You're
I
not.
don't live in the
Like,
same state with
yeah,
you.
yeah. Like you are not in these rooms. I don't get on the phone and just say like this. But like, there's just the. I mean, I said it before and I'll say it again. Thank you. I'm living blessings for two. Everything that you ever wanted from me is happening and it's going to continue to happen. This is merely just the beginning. Um, you're a motherfucking superhero. Like just straight up. Like just I mean,
I love you.
I love you too.
You my ride and
But like
die.
just I just like
You was my road dog.
still is.
But we were like kids together. I always
Yes.
felt like
Yo, growing
we
up was
were
lit. We
siblings.
had fun. I remember we watched South Park, but like we wouldn't tell other parents we watched South Park because that's not a good parent move. I remember when we built the entertainment center together. We thought that was a big deal. Like we had like moments, dog.
I always felt like we were kids living on our own.
We were.
We had our own apartment, and the big house was Nana house. Like I never forget that time we were leaving, and we were I don't know where we were going to Nana house, and we was putting our coats on, and it was a blizzard outside, as if we would normally be going outside. But then you remember, oh, we going to Nana's. Let me go get my hat and scarf so we don't get in trouble. Like I always felt like Nana house is the house that had
we
the
were
rules.
teammates. We totally understood.
And
I didn't want you getting in trouble, and I wasn't trying to get in trouble.
So Nana house was the rule house, and our house was where we made the hot dogs with the cheese. You couldn't tell us we ain't had gourmet food.
Facts. And the Salisbury steak, though.
And then we rode on the highway like at 85 miles per hour. But never do that again. Don't ever do that with your kids. But yeah, we did that.
I remember that time you let me drive the car. It was slow. Everybody chill out. But like we
had fun. We like broke a lot of rules. Like we just did. It was like
we traveled down to the beach together. Just
yes,
us
all the time.
Now would navigate us down there.
Yes. And would have our weekends, and it was like going away without parents.
It was.
I know I probably should, but I really felt like we grew up together.
Yes.
And that's why I never, even though I had to put in a lot of work, I didn't see it as work. So I always looked at it as it's just you and I, like it's just you and me against the world. Like it just, again, I would do it all over again. Again, I would not. I didn't go to prom. I didn't care about
have
that.
time
like,
for it.
And it wasn't.
And more importantly, you're right. It wasn't important.
It wasn't important to me. It wasn't important to me. I think healing my self-worth was way more important to me than going out and hanging out with people. Because to me, I felt like I had to. The only way I can be of any purpose or do anything that would help you is for me to try to help myself. And and that was what I would prefer to do, that I preferred to do. than to hang out, because after I felt like I was healed, which I wasn't, but after I did feel like I
Yes.
was healed, my energy went towards you. Like it just went towards, I just didn't want to slack. There was no room for slacking, because I just needed to elevate you. I needed you elevated. I just needed you to free. And to me, I felt like if I can make sure you get the best education, make sure you
Yeah,
travel.
and we did that.
Yes.
We moved to really good school districts
Yes.
whenever you had the
I
money and
did
the
that on
opportunity
purpose.
to.
I did that purposefully. I says I'd rather try to figure out how this electric bill and heat bill is going to get paid and move to a neighborhood where I knew that there was going to be some diversity and that you would get a better education.
Well,
That
I don't know if it
wasn't.
was diversity in Parkland. Let's be 100.
Oh, okay.
It
Well,
was just me
Parkland
and
was
Tari.
different.
It was me and Tari. And when we pulled up, we was looking for black folks only. We was in the whip like
One.
it wasn't. Well, there was one.
One.
It was. He had special needs.
Yes,
And
but still.
everybody thought I was Tari, and I was like, no, I'm just a new black kid. It was a yes. But high school got better. High school
High
got
school
better.
got better.
But Parkland was Springhouse.
Yes.
Springhouse Middle School
Yes.
was rough.
I feel like I just wanted you. I just needed you to. My goal, I think, it was just I seen things growing up when I was younger. I saw riding on a bus, going through certain towns where it's 10 o'clock in the morning and Mojo's got a brown paper bag over beer, over a fifth of liquor. They pounding they dudes that's sitting on crates and they playing cards, and I'm just like, that's not gonna happen.
No, not to me.
That's just not gonna be an option. Like that right there isn't an option. He is not walking to school and walking past that every day. He ain't walking to school and seeing dudes standing on the corner selling, clocking, whatever they want to call it, wasn't an option. And that wasn't an option when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. It was that's just not an option. So again, if we got to be in the house with candles on, we're going to be in the house with candles on. But that is not what he's going to see when he's on his way to school.
That did happen sometimes.
So,
I remember the
yes,
time with
but
the oven.
so,
with
but,
the oven.
but
You're right. You're right.
look at you now.
True.
So, okay, and I'll go back to
Sure.
candles.
Listen. I ain't mad. Listen, I'm not whoa. Let's be clear. I'm certainly not complaining. I just think it's important for folks to know that like that grind is real. And
Yes,
I think sometimes what happens is folks might get caught up in thinking that like being a parent is this, that, and like there's levels to it. I don't want folks to think that because your lights went off, you're not doing the like what's absolutely necessary for your child to thrive in that moment and opportunity. I would say there's a mixture of, and once again, it's similar to when we moved to Jersey, and I just understood the whole teamwork element of it. Is like when you've had not, you realize that like, oh, mom has to travel an hour to and from work just to keep all this on and keep all this working. And I'm not going to be too upset about it because my grades are good. Super Nintendo was popping. Like, like
Exactly. You did your part. I tried to do mine.
And you 100% did. And you 100% did.
Sometimes it will have to be awful. Sometimes you're gonna have to wait a day for the heat to come back on. But it is what it is. It's a sacrifice that again I would make it all over again.
And I think it's one of those things too where because you communicated it to me, I understood it. It wasn't a why. It wasn't a like I didn't feel bad. If anything, it made me support you more. Just because I knew at that time it wasn't like I could make bread. So but I knew what it was that you needed me to be, and I think that's also a mixture of, and granted because we were so young, we were homies.
Yes,
we were best friends.
Yes, we were.
And granted, you tell me I got a couple whoopings, whatever. We were still
only got
best
one.
friends. I mean, but
from me.
Yes, from you. Yeah.
Well, you got one from all of us at the same time.
I remember that one time. I was like, it matches
under the bed. Yeah. No, that's a no.
I just thought.
No, Anthony, no.
All right, you're right.
Your aunt had 1,000 shoes up under this bed.
It was a bad. It is a mattress. A mattress was catching
I'll
fire.
give you that you were 6, but I was like, no.
Like it was a cool chemical reaction.
No.
It was like it was something that was like dry. Like you have two dry things together, and then you hear the and you get to watch it do the
And we smelt it in.
Yeah. And I remember I came in the room and I went,
I think your aunt beat you first.
She did. And then y'all
Then
came home and I
thought
was
about
like,
it,
what?
and then I was like, no, I'm beating his ass again. I was like, he did what?
that she was so mad. I feel like
And we didn't care about the shoes. It was
and
the
she
fact
like dragged me by the bed. Oh man.
like, who does that?
And
But
at
that
one
just
time,
goes to show that you was a child and
when
we
I was
should
playing in
allow
the
you to
street,
be.
y'all
Oh,
said,
yes.
y'all can't. You said they're gonna run out into that street chasing the ball. And I remember I didn't do that. There's this huge tree next to the sidewalk. So it was like sidewalk, tree, street.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing like a ring around the rosy with the tree. And I was like, I'm in the street, I'm out the street, I'm in the street, I'm out the street. And I remember Mika was in the window.
And she seen you.
And she go, oh, you think you funny?
I'm sure she
And
was.
she called me. Yes, she did. She called me upstairs. She left the window open so all the kids on the block can hear me get a whooping.
See? That's what you.
But then you learn.
Yes.
But then you learn.
Yes. Your whoopings came from you put your life in danger.
Yeah. Necessary.
Yes, the necessary evil.
I wouldn't change a thing.
Mhm.
I wouldn't even call it an evil. Not in my circumstance.
No.
There's so many to continue on with our combo. There's a lot I do want to touch on. I think something that's really, really important for me, what resonated so much in my life, I think all parents should be mindful of and try to instill into their children. I don't remember exactly what it was that I did, but I came home. Maybe I was already home. But long story short, I was like profusely apologetic. And I was like, I'm sorry. And you were like stern. You looked at me, pretty sure you might have grabbed my cheeks, not sure. But even if you didn't, you like verbally grabbed my cheeks.
Mm-hmm. I remember that because I don't play that.
And you said, I don't raise no sorry children. You apologize.
Yes. I always said, if you do something wrong, it is okay to admit that you were wrong.
Yes.
But the words you say is, I apologize.
Yes.
You do not say that you are sorry because I do not make or raise sorry children.
And when I say a profound impact, because you hear the word sorry all the time. And now every time I hear it, I automatically go, I don't raise no sorry children.
I don't raise no sorry children.
And it's that constant affirmation. You turn something that most people just take as polite into something that galvanizes you, that lifts you up. Mm-hmm. And I hear people now, because some folks just say sorry and they're not belittling themselves. Mm-hmm. But there's enough that say sorry and actually feel bad. When I'm wrong, I don't feel bad about it. Mm-hmm. I just acknowledge it and then I keep it moving. There is a negative connotation that goes with sorry. And there's some folks who say sorry too much. I'm just like, you're so busy saying sorry, you can't thrive.
Mm-hmm. And then that's what I felt. I felt like society, it's going to eat away at you enough and try to make you smaller than who you are already. Mm-hmm. That you do not need to reiterate that by saying to yourself, I'm sorry.
Yes.
As children, you're going to make mistakes. You're supposed to be allowed to go out into society and make mistakes. And when you try things, you're going to make a mistake. Yeah. And it's saying I apologize is going to be necessary sometimes. And I wanted to make sure when I said that to you, I was saying that to you because I needed you to not take away from you. Mm-hmm. I needed you. First of all, I would spend too much time building you up, your person up. And I already knew that if you turned on the news, that they were going to tell you that you're an animal and that you're this.
Super predator.
Exactly. Yeah. So I needed you to be as strong as possible and build you up as strong as possible. And I know that if you continuously tell yourself that you're sorry, you can believe it. And I didn't want you to by no means feel like you were sorry because you were raised deliberately and purposefully. And sorry is something that you're not. You know, I'm not saying you're perfect, but what you're not is sorry. Okay? And like you said, you can run across people that say sorry so much that they believe it. And they live their life as such, like they're sorry. Because the hard stuff is easier to believe. And it's just, no, I just feel like as a parent, we have to give our children what they need to survive in society because they are going to apply for jobs and be told no. They're going to try to talk to girls and be told plenty of times no. So
Wait. Why you got to bring that one up?
Because that's, men always get shot down. Y'all, that's what happens. So for all the no's in the world.
Hold up. Like, I mean,
every 10 women you asked to go out, only one said yes. I promise. It's probably more than that. So, I mean, there's so many things.
It ain't like that now. I'm good now. I'm good.
I mean, anyway. But there's...
I got nice.
Yeah, okay.
I got
Niceness
nice.
don't mean nothing.
I got nice, though.
Yeah.
Had the drip. Had the drip.
Girls got drip now, too.
Facts.
Okay, let's not get it twisted.
Facts.
But that's what's the purpose of that. It's just because we get stripped, not just men, but, women too. As you go out into the world, you get told no. And, you get told people interpret, like if someone denies you something, people internalize it sometimes as they're not good enough. They're not worthy. They're
Preach.
not, so I feel like if we are going to go out into this world and be successful, then we have to believe that we are capable.
Facts.
That we are able.
Facts.
If you're not, probably shouldn't say it, but I just feel like you can be as successful as you want to be. And if you're being held back, look in the mirror and see what you're doing.
Fam!
That's the only thing I'm
man,
saying.
Listen, man. Listen. Literally, I used that same analogy in class like 2 days ago. Tops. It's like, instead of pointing fingers,
just look in the mirror. Just look at. I feel like my life could have been completely different if I decided to stay stuck.
And mine would have too.
Yes, yours would have too. If I would have decided to continue, I'm going to just be this victim. And I'm going to just be hurt.
I'm going to just stay
And
hurt.
I'm going to just stay like this. And when this little boy come up to me and want to hug my neck every 5 minutes, I'm going to push him away. And when he sing that rap song, I'm going to clap him on. I ain't going to educate him. Because he cute. Because he's singing a rap. What's your options would have been? You want to go outside and play? Go on, hang out with your friends.
Facts.
You say you sorry? You damn right. Because you got that no good daddy.
Facts.
Get your ass out my face. I could have did that.
Easily. Everybody else was doing it.
You could have been 5 years old and ain't know no more than them raps that you sang. Where you was going. And I could have not spent extra money and relocating you somewhere else and shine and been ghetto fabulous in the hood. And save my money. Buy me Gucci and Louis bag. Surely could.
Facts.
Surely could. And let you go to school where the state took over. And chill. And stayed hurt.
And blame it on the system.
And stayed in the pain. And said, and blamed it on the system. Media said you was going to be in jail.
Media said,
I was going to keep had baby. And that's just where I'm at. They right. No. Embrace your pain. Feel your pain. Forgive your pain.
Yes, then make you better.
Then
make you better.
And just make yourself better. Just do better for you.
Yes.
Don't get help for it. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that.
Absolutely.
But if you going through something, feel what you feeling, but get help for it. And elevate yourself. I just say if you elevate yourself from out that funk, from out that stench, and stay focused, and just go where you're going. Know where you're going and walk in that direction.
Facts.
Don't expect less.
Ooh.
Do not expect
bars.
Less. If you expect less, you're going to get less. I promise you, I lived like a millionaire all my life. I lived successfully all my life because I don't know what failure is. I might have failed at things along the way of doing things.
Yeah, but you ain't quit though.
But I didn't quit because I didn't know what that was. There was nothing to quit. There was never a plan B. People say you got to have a plan. Why? Because I don't plan on failing. Yes, I'm going to walk off this table, but I guarantee you I won't hit the ground. Because something going to happen along the way that allow me to keep going where I'm going. In the direction that I'm going. You can't be afraid to live your life. Because as long as you're fearful, you're not going to make it. You won't make it. Because you're going to find things to stop you from getting to where you want to be.
You're 100% right.
You'll find excuse. Whether it's an excuse, it's a person,
because that's the easy part.
Situation.
Yes.
So you just don't feel it and move on, I say. Period. But just keep going to where you want to go is all I say. If you can do whatever you want to do. We all can do whatever we want to do.
Period.
We all can do whatever we want to do.
Period.
You just have to believe it.
Period. Okay, so on an episode earlier, during my intro, I kind of shared the story about how when I was like, I think I was 6, maybe I was 5, I had wanted to walk to school by myself because I thought I was grown.
Hmm.
I want to hear that from your perspective, just because I'm sure I left out some big details, and just like, let's say at that time you were 20 years old, I guess what your thought process was like going through that, and like what that feel like, and how do you come to that like choice?
Well, you were 6,
Mm-hmm.
and you were in the first grade,
Mm-hmm.
and you felt like it was embarrassing for me to be walking you to school and kissing you in front of your
Yeah, I
friends.
remember that. Yep,
And you
that was
felt,
it. That was really what it
yes,
was.
and you
Outside, you kissed
felt
me in front of the
like
homies.
you was old enough
Yeah.
to walk to school by yourself. I'm big enough, Mom. I could go to school by myself. I said, all right,
Mm-hmm.
fine. You think you big enough? You think you old enough? You can go to school by yourself. So you would get dressed
Mm-hmm.
and you would leave, and I'd be still laying in the bed. As soon as you got down the stairs, I'd jump up, put on my coat, and let you get further enough, and I'd follow you.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to hide behind the trees, behind cars, and sit on people's porches.
For real?
Yes. I had to do that because
Hold on, baby, but you never got in trouble for sitting on somebody's porch?
I don't know why they didn't even call the police on me for stalking. But I had to do that because you kept turning around.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the heck? Why does he keep turning around? So every time you would walk,
Mm-hmm.
right, every single day, and I did this probably for a couple of months, I had to write a note to your principal and let the principal know that you'd be walking to school by yourself. And I
Mm-hmm.
let him know I would be following you.
Okay.
So several months you did this. You kept turning around. You kept turning around. So I kept having to hide behind cars and trees, and about 3 months into me following you,
Mm-hmm.
we were driving to McDonald's. And we were riding up the street. And you said, Mom, you know when I turn around and I get to this tree, I could still see the parking lot. And you was like, and then when I get to this tree, I can't no longer see the house, but I can see the park.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get to this house, I can no longer see the park, but I can see that purple house. And when I get to the corner, I can't see anything else. And so I was like, oh, really? So you was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. And so from that point,
Mm-hmm.
I realized why you kept turning around. You were turning around because you was being observant and paying attention to your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point is when I stopped following you, because I said, he's not turning around because he's seeing me. He's turning around because he's being aware of his environment.
Yeah.
And so that gave me the confidence to let you be this big boy,
Mm-hmm.
and go to school by yourself. But I did it for several months. But you turned around every single time, every day. But I did that. I allowed you to do that because you were little and you
Mm-hmm.
felt like you were big.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I should support that. To allow you, if you have the confidence within yourself at 6
Mm-hmm.
years old to take on the task of going to school by yourself, then I should allow you to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like, and part of raising you is, again, if your children feel like, well, I'm going to just leave it to you. I felt like
Mm-hmm.
if you have the confidence to do something, then I should support that confidence.
Facts.
Just because I might be scared that something might happen to you doesn't, again, mean that I'm supposed to put that fear upon you. I'm not saying to let your kids loose if you know that it ain't a place where you should, but I say put in the extra effort to let them have their confidence and feel strong in their independence,
Mm-hmm.
and figure out a way to make it work for them. It's part of building your children.
Facts.
It's
Agreed.
giving them the security to make them feel like
I'm-
they can do all things.
Facts. When I was younger, did I ever ask about my father? Or did I come to the same conclusion that you came to?
You might have. You might have asked about him. One thing I know, what I didn't do was ever talk bad about him,
I do remember that. That's fact.
because I didn't feel like it was my place. I feel
Mhm.
like as an individual, that's something that you can come to your own conclusion about.
Mm-hmm.
So I never spoke of him And you might have asked me about him, but I'm sure I probably just said, I don't know where he's at, or he probably is here, and I left it at that. I
True.
never went into a deep conversation with you about him. I don't recall us
No
ever having a
connection like that.
in-depth conversation
I agree.
about it. You might have asked me, like why you weren't together, or were we together, or and I probably just told you that we didn't have a relationship like that. Yeah.
Was there ever a point in time where 'cause I feel like internally I definitely had these conversations with myself growing up,
Hmm.
but like on Father's Day, like that was also I think one of those things that cemented my understanding for all it is that you do and that
Hmm.
you try to be and
Hmm.
that you are being.
Hmm.
Um, it was growing up. Was Father's Day tough for you?
No.
It was Gucci.
Yeah. You mean as far as for you, because of you?
I mean, either or. Is there ever a point? No, use me up your mind. That makes sense.
Yeah. No. No, it was never hard for me. I mean, I got double kudos. You gave me Father's Day and Mother's Day,
That is
so
true.
I mean, I didn't
That
think.
actually you're right.
Yeah, I didn't.
and actually still do that.
Yes.
True.
So I never like. Mm-mm,
Yeah, makes
no.
sense. Another one of the many things that you instilled in me growing up. I remember was I in second or third grade when I had the stuttering problem?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I had like a sincere, and even there's still like remnants of it. There's still like a residue of it from the standpoint of like a legit fear of public speaking. Because every time I spoke, I was always ridiculed, and kids would always make fun of me.
You never
And
told me.
I didn't.
No.
I never told you about my stuttering problem.
I knew you had. First
but
of all,
okay, go ahead.
stuttering ran in our family. Your grandfather and your great grandfather
Mhm.
stuttered. So to me, I never even looked twice at it
So it was just a
until
normal
you
thing.
were in a grade school, and your teacher was like, "You need a speech class." I'm like, "For what?" And she was like, "Because he stutters." And I'm like, "Oh." I was so used to hearing stuttering
Mhm.
that I didn't even know
Think it
that
was a
there was
thing.
a thing. But I can recall a plenty of times of you getting very frustrated with
Mhm.
yourself
Mhm.
and wanting to stop in mid conversation because you couldn't get something out. And all I could see when I looked in your face was the discouragement that you
Yes.
had.
It was real, like seated, like
Yes,
painful.
yes, and I can remember repeatedly, over and over again, every time, telling you, I don't give. Can I say that?
Live
I
your
don't give a
life.
shit if it takes you 10 years to get out what you have to say.
Mhm.
I want to hear what you have to say, because what you have to say is important.
Yeah.
And I said that because I could see you. I could see you eating at yourself. I could
Yes.
see the discouragement on your face. I could hear, for some reason, what used to go through my mind is, I'm like, this boy is now telling himself, it's not worth it. What I have to say isn't important. It's not worth me putting in the extra effort. It's not valuable information. It can wait. I could just see it in your face, the
It's
discouragement
a
in your
fact.
face. And I just remember always saying to you, I don't give a shit. And I meant it. I don't give a crap if it took you 10 years to say what you had to say. I wanted to know what it was that you had to say. I said that for several reasons because, one, I wanted you to know that you had a safe place in me
Mhm.
to say whatever it is that you needed to say, that you would be heard.
Mhm.
Two, I wanted you to know that even though you stuttered, whatever it was that you had to say was important. I didn't want you to feel like you weren't worth it. What you had to say wasn't important.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to think that you can put yourself down. Like, in other words, you could put yourself aside and say, never mind, it ain't that important. I didn't want that for you. And I could see that happening to you. I could see every time you'd start the conversation and stop the conversation, or tried to stop the conversation by saying, never mind,
Mhm.
that just wasn't going to fly with me. Because to me, I'm thinking, if I continue to allow him to say, never mind, for every time he tries to say something, then that's going to be a whole lot of something that he ain't saying.
And like reflecting back on it and thinking about the entire situation and the circumstances of all the work that you put into yourself and then all the work that you put into me and then how one grade year at school could completely like dismantle all that work. It's, I mean, parenting, mentoring, like all those things just don't stop. And it's just kind of fascinating to see how like we can get everything right, and then something that neither of us perceived as a problem until other folks told us that it was could be such a huge hurdle and also have such a major impact on our trajectory, and when we end up is important. And I think you having the discernment to realize that is dope. And because you're right, it ate me up.
It did. It just you
It ate me
it
up.
was all over
And,
your face.
especially because, so after the stuttering stopped, like I always enjoyed participating in school
Then
to
you
the
wouldn't
point
shut
where
up.
yes,
To the point
where people
this
were
is-
actually mad.
This is
like,
what parent
like,
teachers meeting went like. I stopped going after a while. They all said
answer
the
too many-
same.
yeah, go
They
ahead.
said the same thing. Oh, Anthony's a great child. He gets all A's. But that talking, every teacher said the same thing.
All of them.
He gets all A's. He gets great grades. But I can't stop him from talking.
'Cause I was bored.
Until I told them to just tell him that you was going to take points off his grade, and he would shut up. You do
I
not
forgot about
understand
this. I definitely
how
wanted to talk about this. When you
devastated.
made folks give me B's.
Yes,
So I
that's
stopped
what
talking in class.
One teacher came up with the idea to give you a B because she said she was going to take points off your grade because you kept talking.
Yeah.
And you came
I forgot
home
about this.
so that can you believe all this huffing and puffing because he gave me a B. I was like, oh really? So you upset? So I went to the next parents teachers meeting and told all the teachers. I said, you want to get up
How
under
savage
his
is
skin?
this?
I
How
said,
savage is
take
this?
points off his grade. That's the only thing that matters to him.
Savage.
And that's the way they were able to get you to not talk.
not talk during
and
class.
I'm telling you, and it's interesting because you must have took that stuttering class, that speech therapy,
I think it was
probably
just 2
for
years.
a year or two.
Yeah.
And it was amazing about how, I don't even know what they was talking. I just
No, I
remember
do
easy
remember easy
onset. That's all I remember.
Easy onset.
So after I learned about the easy onset,
Mhm.
instead of telling you I don't care if it takes 10 years if you started stuttering, then I would say, Anthony, easy onset.
Mhm.
You know, and then we later in years found out that I think they was able to determine that if you were reading something, it came out easier versus if you had to think about it and speak it.
Yeah.
Then that's when I remember
Because
that.
my thoughts would go so fast that my mouth couldn't keep up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a mixture of letting the thought go, distilling it, finding like some level of composure, that easy onset, the
Set.
process of like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is the sentence you're going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Say it instead of
Yes.
saying it as you're formulating the sentence.
Yes. I remember that though, but that used to hurt my heart when I used to see you get so discouraged like that. Like that
You
used
used to hurt my heart when you made them give me B's.
Well, that's okay,
Totally
because you
forgot
just-
about that.
Yeah, no, well, I didn't because you just used to.
I was
Everybody,
killing it.
I stopped going because I was like, I know
was killing
he's
it.
getting A's. I remember telling your teacher, telling on you one day, because I was like, he needs to be more challenged. I was like, he's at home, he's on video games, he's on the computer,
I'm
he's
literally
blasting
multitasking
music.
and doing my homework all at the same time.
Exactly, and I was like, and he is not studying.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and I don't forget, and she was just like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm thinking to myself, no, it's broke because
was
he's
mad.
not being challenged.
She was bad. He's too smart. He's too smart. He ain't doing enough work.
So when you went to Parkland, that's why I deliberately made you take not made
I
you,
still
but
killed that too, though.
I know,
The-
but that's why I was
the gifted
mad. The
hypertensive
gifted-
things. I remember I came into Parkland and I'll never forget. We got stories about
Yeah.
lack of integration, if you want to call
Yeah.
it that. And I just remember I was in 7th grade. This 8th grade girl was like, "Oh, you're the new black kid everybody's talking about," and I was like, "My name is Anthony."
Are
I
you
was like,
serious?
"Oh, yes." I remember I had and you know, the internet never forgets. I had, so I'm just gonna say it. I had a AIM screen name that wasn't too polite. I'll just leave it at that. I remember I was salty. And what happened? There was a test that everybody was taking the first day, and it was it math or was it? Was it math? Was it like geography? Long story short, let's call it math. And I'm pretty sure it was math. Yeah, it was math. And I take it. I hadn't learned it like fresh. I didn't get any of the material
Doesn't surprise
beforehand,
me.
but the school in Jersey had like we already like went over it like a month or two ago, and I got a 98. And I remember they're handing out the grades, and all these dudes are like leaning over to see what I got, and they're just like, "Whoa, like you don't just play basketball, like this." Like I vividly remember, and the one thing that's also interesting about that, and I want to speak to the other side of it too, is the dude that said it was actually like a cool person.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually friends throughout high school, like a quality human. We
Mm-hmm.
might still be friends on the gram, and it was just a lack of exposure.
Mm-hmm. True.
It's a mixture of
True.
like if
True.
if I'm being like 100 about it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like it's a damn shame that you assumed I wasn't going to be smart. That's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't it there was no malice behind it. It's just
I
that
understand that.
stereotypes and you know what? Not social media because it wasn't,
Social media back then.
but like media told him I was going to be a super predator that's good at basketball, and then he realized that I'm actually so much more than that, and I'm actually not that great at basketball.
Exactly. But you know what? But that was the reason too why I wanted you to have friends with everyone. I wanted you to have friends with white, black, Chinese, African. It didn't matter to me. It's because I wanted you to have the exposure. Because I feel like when you have exposure to other cultures, to other nationalities,
You can't be
it's
biased.
harder for you to stereotype.
Yeah.
It's less likely for you to stereotype. And there's so much you can learn and embrace, you know, and I used to, to me, that was just so important because
I 100%
I wanted
agree.
you to be, again, if you went to China, I wanted you to be able to not feel like, oh, I'm the only black person, but I wanted you to feel like you could sit down and
Any table.
at any table
No.
and not be, you know, stereotyping others, saying, well, you know, I want it because I think there's so much value in that. I think it is very
And
important
other
to me.
humans.
And other humans,
yeah.
but different cultures other than yourself, because
Yeah.
you'll realize that the table really is the same.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It might
And
use
all the
different
food good.
season, but the
Yeah, but
food
all
be
the food
banging,
good.
especially if you at somebody mama house.
Yes, and all the
You
food
know,
good.
I mean, I used to look forward to when I was growing up, going to J House, you know, because even though they were Dominican, and even though her pork chops taste different than Anna pork chops, but it
They're
was
still good
banging.
pork chops.
Yeah, I mean, everybody spoke Spanish for the most part, but I didn't care. But, you know, I embraced, like, even like, why your coffee pot, you know,
Yeah, I
look like
remember
that?
this. And the small coffee.
Yeah, why we only have this little bit of coffee? And she used to be like, we cannot have a big cup. And I used to be like, Jay, like, this
I
is
just want a whole coffee.
I want a whole cup of coffee.
Like
you
it's
know?
too strong.
But that was a part of my childhood that I enjoyed. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I enjoyed that because it was, even though they were black in color and skin, but they were Dominican, so it was a different culture. And I just enjoyed that, and that had an impact on me so much that
remember that.
I wanted to make sure that you had that, because it
Made you better.
it really does. It gives you a better understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we used to, Red used to bring home pierogies from this guy on his job. His wife used to make fresh pierogies because they were Polish.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to be in like, what?
Wow.
Those knish, oh my, we used to skip. Like, I'm telling you, me and Tamika used to show off. So again, that is the reason why, is because I just feel like if you don't shelter off your children and say you're gonna be around black people and that's it, and black power, and it ain't nothing wrong with believing in your own kind, but I just feel like that you win.
And it's also believing in self doesn't mean that you don't believe in anybody else. That like self-love doesn't mean hatred for everybody else.
Absolutely. I just
Yes.
mean that you're gonna be happy. Your plate will be happy plenty of times, if for nothing else. So you know what I mean?
At the very least.
At the very least, your plate, you'll be happy. Your stomach will be happy. But
True.
it's knowing people too in other cultures, because it's eye-opening to me. I think it's important. It helps you in businesses. It helps you, you know, in education. It helps you in a lot of ways.
And I definitely want to pivot back to the education part, just because for us, education collectively was super, super important. Something that I was always good at, something that I thrived at. I really, really enjoyed. How did you feel when I decided to drop out of Columbia and like stop pursuing physical therapy? So I remember
When
it was
you
one of those
called
things
me.
where I'm about to say, hold up, like let me give you like let me give some context to folks. So I was doing my internship, and it was at a really prestigious hospital, like a really really dope hospital in New York, and I just had a number of epiphanies that made me realize that like this wasn't what I was meant to be. And at the same time, I was also working at Soul Cycle. I had just started teaching like on the schedule, and I remember I was dreading going to the internship. I just couldn't wait to get to Soul and like ride away all my misery. And let's say or like a month and a half into it, I was just like, why am I torturing myself? Like, why do I despise this so bad just to get to this one thing that I actually find release and like cathartic and uplifting? And I was like, why wouldn't I just make that my whole everything? And I had some behavior that was definitely
Self-sabotage?
you know what? In hindsight, maybe
Could
it
be
was.
because you wasn't happy
You know
with
what?
it.
In hindsight, maybe it was for real. I kind of viewed them as like blessings, just from a standpoint of it was just so not like me that like God was like, "Yo, I'm about to pull you out of this just because you're too stubborn and you spent too much time and you thought that and you think that you need to be here. I'm gonna pull you out. Columbia's gonna hit you with like an ultimatum." But before they hit you with the ultimatum, I'm gonna give you some insight and some information that you need to know, and that you need to really like reflect upon and digest, so you can draw your own conclusion of, are you going to do more internships and programs that you don't care about, or are you going to follow your dreams and also stop accruing all this debt? And I knew what my heart wanted. I knew the opportunity that Soul Cycle gave me, and I knew that I'd give it my all. Like my whole all. There was nothing bad about it. So I had to opt out. And I remember I still had all the debt.
I know.
I still had all the debt. I still had 1 degree. And that 1 degree didn't allow me to really get into anything. And I told you. So go ahead. How'd you feel when you got that news?
Okay. So when you called me and you said that you was thinking about, or that you wasn't gonna finish Columbia, I think you said, and that you were gonna.
Yeah, I said I'm leaving.
Yeah, you leaving, and that you're gonna you were going to just be working at Soul Cycle. And I remember thinking to myself, this nigga crazy. That's what I thought, but I ain't say nothing. I said, okay. I said, when you told me, I said, you know you're going to still have those student loans. Can you afford those loans? And you said yes. I said, okay. I said, do you? Even though I was thinking, do this man know what I had to go through to get his behind into this darn schools and all
Ivy League and all of that.
All Ivy League, borrow for Peter to pay Paul.
Yes, like it was a grind.
It was a grind.
It was a lot to think about, even on my part.
But I knew also that, one, I could support this, because when I asked you if you can afford your student loans and you said yes, I felt confident enough to know. The first thing, let me rewind that, please.
No, go ahead.
The first thing I said is, this man gonna give up being a doctor to ride a bike. That was the first initial thing that went through my mind. Is he just tell me he not gonna be a doctor to ride a bike?
The mic, mama.
Oh, I'm sorry, but to ride a bike?
Yeah.
And so I was like, did he really just say that? But okay, can you afford your student loans? You said yes. I said okay.
I do remember that.
Yes, because to me, I thought, you know what? You were going on and telling me about how you just wasn't satisfied with what you were getting from it. Yeah. And I felt like, you know what? People spend a lot of years going to jobs that they can't stand. And a lot of people, and complain. I don't want you to go to work just to come home to complain about your day.
Facts. And
if you're going to go to work every day, then it needs to be something that you're fulfilled by.
Yes.
You know, people go to work, they do whatever they do. They become things that other people wanted them to be. And I didn't want to be the reason why you were a doctor. We might have said to you, oh, we expect you to be a doctor or a lawyer or what have you because of your intelligence, how smart you were. But at the end of the day, I needed you to be who you needed to be for you, because it's not about me. It ain't about how you got through college and how the struggles I had to. It wasn't about me. It was about you. And I knew that you were enough of me was put into you. And I was very, very, very confident in the decision that you made, even though whatever I might have initially thought, like Dr. Bike. Honestly, I'm being honest.
Yeah, the big 100.
I really still felt secure in it. Like literally, I would have walked off the cliff with you if you was my dude, and I would have walked off the cliff. We just gonna ride this bike today. Like we're not gonna be a doctor. We gonna ride off this. We gonna ride a bike today.
Yes.
Because I felt confident in the decision that you made, because I feel like at the end of the day, you got to be happy with what you do.
Facts.
And your career, your work has to be what you love.
Facts.
You can make all the money you want to
and be unhappy as a mug.
And be unhappy.
Yes.
Who
I know,
it's not.
We know too many of them.
You can, for real, seriously. And
yes,
money is not going to make a difference.
No.
It's not. You can be. So I was okay with it. I was. And I mean, even though when you took that year out of school and you were saying to yourself that, you had a degree that you really couldn't take nowhere or do nothing with it, I still felt like you could, because you were so into.
Nah, listen, I couldn't. I'm telling
you. A teacher,
you.
There's teachers.
I mean,
that's
bruh,
what you mentor. You teacher. You mentor children, young men.
Yes.
Okay. Teacher does the same thing. All right. You're into sports, athletic.
Don't get me wrong.
You
I still could have figured something. You're right.
You could have figured something out. Right. There's always a way.
You're
but at the end of the day, I wanted you to be happy with the decision that you made, and I didn't want to put any of my stench on you to make you feel some kind of way about the decision you made. Because honestly, I was really confident with your decision. It was the decision that you felt was best for you, and I remember saying to you, if you're gonna be happy, then I'm happy, because it's for you. It's not for me.
Facts.
And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. That's what I mean.
I mean, it ended up being the right one, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I just remember, and I think that conversation is important because far too few parents take the selfless act. Far too few parents think that like they think the finance thing, and granted, some of that's cultural, some of that's being financially solvent is really, really important. And being able to provide is really, really important. But in this day and age, especially, I feel like we're starting to understand and realize that happiness is way more important than any of that.
Way more important.
And if you know what it is that you care about, then you should chase that, because that's the gift.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely a tough hurdle for some folks to get off of.
But at the end of the day, as a parent, we want the best for our children. We provide for our children. We sacrifice for our children, and we want the best for our children.
No, but know that the best is happiness.
But you have to trust.
Yes.
If you've raised your children, then you have to trust that your children know what's best for them. And what's best for your children, it's not necessarily what you think is best for them. Matter of fact, what you think is best for them isn't best for them.
Facts. That's actually the 100% truth right there.
Your goals and admirations and aspects that you want for your child has nothing to do with what they want for themselves.
Facts.
If it's something they want, then it's all good.
Facts.
You can't put your stuff on that's putting your stuff on your kids.
Facts.
Your fear that they may not be successful. Your insecurities, they may be knocking on your door asking you for money. Just the fear of thinking that they may fail. Know that they'll succeed.
If you raise them right.
If you raise them right, know that they succeed. They'll succeed at whatever they do. Because and success does not mean that they're making a whole lot of money. Success could mean that they're
making a whole lot of happy.
They're making a whole lot of happy. They're happy every day.
Yeah.
They may be barely making it, but they're happy every day. But that's their happiness.
Yes.
And be happy with that.
Yes. Can't nobody take that from you.
Can't nobody take, and that's important.
I agree.
It's very important.
I agree. So earlier this year, I had come back home for a wedding. And before that wedding, and before we touched base on this really important conversation, I remember some of my friends, some of my writers, some of the ladies that come to my class were talking about therapy and antidepressants and anxiety, and just very open about their mental health situations. I just remember thinking to myself, how come we never talked about that.
Mhm.
Like, we in our family, we as black folks certainly go through things.
Mhm.
Is it that we lack the access? Is it that there's so much stigma? Like, or is it that we're just good to go? Is it
Mhm.
just that, like, historically we've been forced to endure so much that we're all just like thicker skinned? And I
Mhm.
remember I came home and I asked you if we're just less susceptible to being depressed or viewing our problems in such a way that's so detrimental and hold us back. And I remember it was it was funny. It was me, you, and Quadi,
Mhm.
and it was like Quadi knew, like it was like Quadi knew that, like, oh, like this about to be a conversation.
Mhm.
And then Quadi dipped, and then you were like, let's go outside, and then you shined a light on me that I still vividly remember you telling me all these things, and I don't, I don't even think I was emotionally available to feel empathy in that moment,
Mhm.
just because there was so much rewiring happening in my brain of, like, going over our history and all our memories and being like, this, like, these were the circumstances, like, this is
Mhm.
what you were going through. And I vividly remember being like, because you're my best friend.
Mhm.
Like, we're my
Mhm.
best friend.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I had no clue. And it was one of those things of, like, if you were able, if you did such a phenomenal job hiding that you had to go to therapy 5 days a week from me, and I had no clue. I wonder what everybody else isn't saying. I wonder
It's
I
a lot.
wonder I wonder I wonder why. And granted, in our circumstances, I get it, because, like, I'm your child and I don't need that burden. But it's just one of those things of, like, as a society, we need to be better equipped at, one, having these conversations, at two, being supportive, at three, like, destigmatizing. And I just remember when you shared your stories with me, and then you followed up with, but that's not uncommon in the black community, with the signs that said, what happens in this house, stay in this house. I remember hearing that, being like that resonated with me. I was
Mhm.
like, what? Like, and then you were like, well, who's helping black women? Like, you can't, like, you gonna call the cops and these cops gonna show up and try to save black women? Like, that's just like who is it? Like, who actually is gonna be here to protect us if your family members and men are just like, it it shook me. It changed me. It absolutely was added to my purpose. And it's a story that I want, not a story, but a cause that I want to elevate. I I want to be a part of the solution. But, like, I I guess when I came to you, could you kind of, like, walk me through what was going through your mind when I had first brought that up to you?
Okay. I just want to comment on some things that you just said recently about the ladies in your class and
Mm-hmm.
about that they have money and they have access to all this stuff and they're open about, depression and anxiety and that they take medication for it. Money means nothing. They're just it's that means nothing. So what they have um isn't the reason why they're going through depression or anxiety or what have you. It's not making it easier for them. Just so that I can say that, because you're like, why are they so openly, freely able to just discuss it?
Mm-hmm.
I think that, and I mean, and this is just my opinion, is I think more so in a black community, like if I can say that,
Mm-hmm.
is I think it's more stereotype. Am I saying using the right
Yeah.
word? Is that people don't want to be classified as something.
It's a
So
stigma.
instead, it's called what?
Stigma.
Stigma
Yeah.
that they're like
Weak
they're
or.
they're they're weak or they're crazy or what. Call me crazy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm newfound crazy, all right,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have I know I need help because it's
Yes.
just too deep rooted.
Yes.
But a lot of that, I believe, is why it's just not talked about. And I want to say, and it's worse amongst men. Only reason I'm saying that is because we as women, we go
At
to the
least
doctor.
communicate.
We'll at least communicate, but we'll go to a regular doctor. So, and if we don't even want to go get therapy, then we'll at least have our regular doctor. I'm not saying all women. I'm just saying we as women, all, no matter what color you are, we'll go to the doctor and maybe get antidepressant or anxiety medication. But so just to touch bases on that, I'm just trying to say is that I think more so in a black community, it's not talking about. It's not
No,
spoken about.
not even a
Honestly,
little
not
bit.
even a little
Not
bit.
even a little
And
bit.
and that is
It wasn't even on my radar. It was literally just one of those things where I viewed the way I perceived it and I felt about it. Okay, super oppressed. Racism is trash. Slavery is trash. Jim Crow is trash. Mass incarceration is trash. Like, white exceptionalism is trash. Like, to me, it was just that was our normal. That twice as hard to get half as much was just one of those things where we're walking through life, navigating, understanding that the only way I'm gonna get any kind of recognition, and not even full credit, but it's recognition, is for me to be MJ or MJ, which is literally supernatural. That's what we have to aim. There's no black mediocrity that gets you to middle class. You have to be exceptional just to breathe the same air and get invited into the same room. And it was just understood. Like, and I guess because we have the aim so high, we don't have time and energy to talk about how low we may feel.
but that's an excuse.
I agree. Don't get me wrong.
Because you have to.
But I'm
in
just trying
small,
to rationalize.
I
I'm just trying to
understand.
rationalize why we never talked about it.
Because I think
And
it
not
comes from
we, but black
individuals.
people.
I know what you mean.
Yes.
Like I feel like it's an individual thing. It's like if you want to help, you know, at some point when you're a child, you rely on your parents to take you to the doctor to get you help or whatever the case may be. But as an adult, at some point, even if you didn't recognize as a child that you might have had depression, at some point as an adult, your doctor will tell you, well, these are the symptoms. If you go to the doctor and say, I'm sleeping all the time. So I think it's on an individual basis. I think people don't want to be labeled crazy. They don't want to be labeled that they have anxiety or that they have depression. Well, first of all, a lot of people have depression. You got situational depression and you got clinical depression. You got several other depressions. So at some point in your life, you're going to go through some type of depression. But I really just think it boils down to the individuals, getting people to talk about it. I think making people, it's trying to make people successful. In other words, if they don't want to be successful, they're not going to be successful. They're not going to have the conversation with other
necessary.
successful people for them to be successful. You have to understand what's holding you back.
Facts.
You have to understand. So you not acknowledging, all you doing is holding yourself back. You want to get better? Talk about it. That's the only way you can overcome it. That's the only way. So it's not that black people just say, we're not going to talk about it. It's that you got to find the people to want to talk about it. And the reason why when I said something to you is because you came home and you was just talking about, I don't know if you were saying you were proud of me or you was just,
Yes, because you're a beast. I'm over here thinking to
but
myself.
listen, you've been for so many years telling me about how much of a great job I've done, and like you're just always praising me. And I'm thinking to myself, this man does not know me. You kept talking about my strengths. And I'm thinking to myself, this man needs to know I'm broken.
I 100% agree.
Like, I felt like he don't know who the hell I am. But then I said to myself, he don't know who I am because I haven't shared with him who I am. And I feel like as a 30-year-old, you have all rights to the inside of me. You got you need to know the truth. Because right now, your vision prior to then was a fairy tale. You didn't know no more about me than what I've allowed other people to know about me. I can tell you for a fact that one thing, I spend a lot of time thinking about my actions, the things I do, the things I don't do, the decisions that I make. And one thing I can admit to doing is I intentionally, all of my life, have entered relationships that I knew that the men were either mentally or emotionally was not going to be available. And I did that because I knew I had no intentions on being with them. And because I knew I wasn't going to mentally or emotionally
Make yourself available to
make
them.
myself available to them. I did that on purpose because I couldn't make myself available to them because I didn't know and still don't know who I'm learning me. And so when I had to stop going to therapy and I had to do my son, and then his sister came in behind him. Okay, so she about to leave, but then that'll be my time.
Yeah.
I can't give something to somebody that you
That you don't
can't give
have.
that you don't have. And I think when you were saying, that to me about, Ma, you so strong, and I was, no, I'm not strong. It just goes to show you that it's a face. People are only going to let you
Now,
in.
wait. I need you to put some respect on your name. I
I will put respect.
I
You're
hear
right.
the imperfect part, but you need.
I do. I have respect on my name because I was about to say is that what I did. Let me explain something to you. I promise you not, if I went to a therapist and they said there was no way in the world that you should have been able to do the things that you did with when it came to raising your children today, and they told me that they want to see me and check me out because something should be wrong, I would agree. Okay, I'm not taking that away from me because to be honest with you, I really shouldn't have been
Okay, able to do
able to do
what we did.
yes what we
Yes.
did.
Yes.
But to get to the point of when you say why is this isn't a discussion is again, I was ready for you to see who I was. You was my 30-year-old man. So I needed to let you know that this strong woman was not only strong, but she was broken as hell when she was doing what she was doing when she was raising you. I needed you to know that, it wasn't a walk in the park.
Yeah.
And at that time, it just wasn't a walk in the park. So, and I needed you to understand that. I needed you to see more than the face that I allowed you to see. Okay, and that again can be a part of depression. I don't know, but I think that people we walk through society showing the face that we want people to see,
Yeah.
putting on the face that we want people to see. Okay, and whether it's purposely or not, but I know that I need to revamp my whole face. And I need time to be able to know who my face is, like know who I am, and to allow myself to heal completely and to put in time into me before I can do anything else or share more with anyone else. But I didn't want to hold back and not let you do it because you're my child, so you deserve to see beyond the fake
Yes.
face.
Yes. It's not fake. It's because there's
It's a
I know what
face.
you're
It's a
saying.
cover up. It's your band-aid. It's what you keep people. It's what I protect. It's a fake face. In a sense, it's not a fake face to you. I was your real mother.
Of course.
But what I mean is, it's a face that you let people walk around here beat down.
Would you
But
say that you're
listen,
more
mentally
would you say that you're
unhealthy.
more beat down than strong?
Yes, right now in this stage. When I was raising you, I was stronger.
Okay.
When I was raising you those first 18 years, but then along the way, and I know why. The good thing is that I know why now I'm more beat down than I am strong
Yeah.
at this stage in the game. But people, a lot of people go through depression and anxiety, and you would never know it because they're good at faking it. They're good at putting on a face that is acceptable to everyone else that don't look like I need help. Let me not look like I need help. Let me be the life of the party, even though I didn't do parties. But
I know what you
but
mean.
they put on a face. You can live with somebody, be in a whole relationship with somebody, be married to somebody, and they don't know you. Just because you know someone's schedule doesn't mean a darn thing. Just because you know somebody likes and dislikes doesn't mean a darn thing. When you know the root of a person, if you know the root to why this person get up every day and go to the gym, or the root why this person like the color red, the real reason. The real reason why they get upset because you told them you love them. A lot of people know that they have emotions, but don't know the root reason of why they having that emotion. But I know that when you went to hug me as a baby,
Mm-hmm.
it made my skin curl. Made me mad as fuck. But I know why. But it's because I pay attention. You got to pay attention.
To your feelings.
You have to pay attention to your feelings. If I was to just say, I don't know, it irks the shit out of me that he wanted me to hug him, that he want me to love him. It irks it hurts me. Then I'm just using the excuse that a pain is available to me. I'm feeling a pain, but I'm not telling you why I feel the pain, or I haven't done the research within myself enough to understand where the pain is coming from. We respond to things and we react to things and we put on a face for things. But a lot of people don't investigate these things within themselves as to why they do or why they're responding the way they're responding. They don't know what motivates them. So they're not really available. They're in something. They're in a relationship, so they say, but is it a real relationship? I always say we walk around and we see the surface of people. Oh, that person's, a millionaire, or that person's a CEO, or, that person, you're naming something about them, but you don't know nothing about them. People genuinely want to be known for, or would love, I think, and appreciated for who they really are. Know the reason why I decided to not wear bloomers and thong today. Understand that that's knowing a person. You wake up and you decide, am I going to wear them? Or why are you feeling like you want to do that? We wake up as individuals and decide, well, am I going to wear boxers? I'm going to wear whitey-tighties. It's a feeling within you that you decided today, I feel like I'd rather be looser. So it's just knowing what generates your decisions that you make in life day to day. Mm-hmm. I think when a person can share that with you, they're being honest with you. That person is genuinely in tune with who they are. Yeah. And I don't want, and that's why my relationships have been, and I've chosen individuals like that, because I knew I wasn't in tune with myself completely yet. I hadn't had the opportunity to do that yet. But I don't want to know a person, for the surface. Do you understand? I can, that's why I don't follow people, that person wearing this, or that person is successful, that person is dying inside and haven't told you that they're dying. They're dyeing their hair pink because they're crying inside.
Facts.
Knowing someone on the surface is not
knowing someone at all.
Not knowing someone at all. And I really felt like, to answer your question, when you said that, I just felt like it's time. Like, I know you think I'm this strong person, but at that time I felt so beat down. And I am still beat down. I think what it is I'm waiting for my time to be my time. I'm waiting to fucking shine for my ass. Yeah. I'm waiting to put in work for me.
Yeah.
There's
you
work.
haven't been able to.
I haven't been able to.
You haven't been able to?
No. And I need to put in the work for me. I need to do that. That is so important.
I 100% agree.
It's so, I just can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make sure of it.
I'm just looking, I really am.
I'll make sure of it.
And I don't regret the years that I had to give up. I don't regret it. But I do also understand that it is important for me to give back to myself. So, I just think that if I can say anything about why it's not talked about amongst people of color, is that, again, I just think people don't want to be labeled. They feel like somebody going to look at them sideways. I say go get all the help you can get. To heck with it. Maybe you can get a check. I'm just saying, you really need to, you help yourself. You help yourself. That can eliminate you from being on drugs. That can eliminate you from being alcohol. You really, instead of trying to mask the problem, deal with the issue.
Yeah.
Deal with the issue.
Yeah. Don't distract, improve.
Yeah. Yes. Because all you're doing, that's the reason why I wasn't drinking. Or doing, the reason why I didn't drink or do drugs, is because I didn't need anything clouding my mind. Even when it came to raising you, I was just like, I can't have no distractions. There will be no television. There will be, I was.
You really didn't watch TV. You read books.
I was adamant. I was determined, to make sure that I didn't put no funk on you. You
You
know,
still
and
don't
if
really watch TV.
no, I don't really. And I just didn't, I couldn't, it was important to me that I focused on you and that I didn't put my insecurities, my fears,
Your scars.
my scars on you and hold you back because people, it's easy to happen. It's easy to happen.
You had a wonderful job. You did more than a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, Mom.
No problemos.
I appreciate you sharing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good to get to know each other better.
You're grown tit. I said you're a whole 30-year-old now. So I don't have to sugarcoat nothing anymore with you.
True.
And I don't want you to live your life not knowing who your mother is.
Agreed. Strong but broken.
Mm-hmm. Strongly broken. I'll bend.
I love you.
Love you too.
Oof, Mom.
You got a boo-boo on your hand. What is with that? Why is that happening? Why is that vein sticking out like that?
This?
Yes.
So when I do push-ups sometimes, but I haven't done push-ups in a minute.
You have insurance. Can you go to the doctor?
It's not like that. It's not like that.
Who said?
It goes down.
It does?
Yeah.
Find out why that happens.
Okay, I will. Oh shit, yeah, we definitely done. We got
Yeah.
mad content. Yeah.
Okay, is it long? We've been gone a lot.
18 minutes over. But we started right around this time, so we got exactly 2 hours.
Okay. Sorry, folks. We'll apologize for... No, no.
I give you a hug, Mom?
Yes, baby. My knees.
I know, I saw it. That was a workout.
I love you.
I love you too.
And I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of you too.
Sacrifice worth making.
I still remember that time. You sent me that text when I was moving to Chicago the first time. That was like, I mean, when I say all of those women were moved.
That's because they was moms.
Yes, they were just, and what you said was so profound. Because one of those things were, for the most part, too, the majority of them were like empty nesters. So like, they get the whole, because exactly what you said resonated with them. And you're like, if I had to do it all over again, I would. And it was just something, literally, they all, like, at that point, were just bawling. It was actually trying
It's hard work. It's hard work.
Yeah, it's hard work.
It's really, it's hard work, but it's
your whole
worth
life
it.
And the kids.
Yeah. My therapist told me I need to realize that my purpose in life was to be a mother.
I mean, but to be honest
And I
with
struggled
you, fam,
with that for a long time.
But, like, for real, what I'm about to do, your therapist was right. Like, your therapist was right. There was a mixture. I was talking to Melody, and she was in the class that I was in when I had shared a little bit of that story. And afterwards, she had come up to me, and she was like, something along the lines of, when you realize who and what you're doing it for, essentially, like, that's all the motivation you need. Because one of those things, like, she's the GOAT. She's like the only one in these rooms that look like she's, but she's aware that it's not just for her. And when your dream just isn't your own, like, it's completely different. It's completely different. There's my ambition and motivation is unending. Like, unending. And I gotta thank you for that.
I thank you because you're the one that gave me the strength.
Yeah,
Because to be honest with you, I would have broken apart. But you gave me the reason to not break apart. You were the reason why I didn't give up. You were the reason why I didn't sit as a victim. You were the reason. Because I didn't have time for that. You know, because that's just that would have been a whole nother life. That could have dragged out a very long time. But I had to do you. And if there was going to be a distraction that would prevent me from taking care of myself or further taking the time to take care of me, it would have been to be able to take care of you. Because to me, that was more important at that time. So it was like, I got enough Band-Aids placed sporadically
Mm-hmm.
on me to move forward, but and to hold me so that I can do what I had to do for you. And that's really what it was.
And you did that.
Yeah. And I'm grateful to have been able to do that, because it was like, again, like I felt like we grew up together. We were,
Homeboys.
yeah,
Like we were home.
yeah,
Like
we
we
had
were.
our own place.
Yeah. Like we were homeboys.
We were allowed to be,
Yes. Because also,
but we weren't bad kids.
no, because it was one of those things too where I was doing really, really good at school. Like,
Yeah.
there was nothing to work on.
You didn't do anything. There was
Yeah,
nothing
there was
to do.
nothing to
We
work
could
on. We legit
But we could eat
just
crap
enjoyed each other.
food.
Yes.
and then go to Nana's to eat real food.
Yeah. I remember those times we was broke, and
You keep calling us broke, but for the record, we were not broke.
fam, hold up, time out. Let me remind you real quick. Pop Tarts,
Okay.
ramen noodles,
Okay.
the whole wheat. No, they weren't whole wheat. The wheat tortillas
Kid
with the
food.
sour cream.
Jaquan.
Hold on, mama. You gonna act like wasn't broke a little bit?
No, Anthony, listen, would you hear me? You know when you said to me, oh, my, when you got with Brian, we had to come up. I says, why? You said, because then all of a sudden we have food in the refrigerator. Have you ever noticed? I don't cook. We ain't have food because I don't cook. The come up was we had someone who cooked in the house.
You might be right. That might be
I told you that we
Went
used
down.
to eat at your Nana house every week. There was no food because I wasn't going to cook it.
True.
What did I cook you? Hot dogs that we put in the oven.
Salisbury steak.
Thank you.
And the
Things that didn't
Stofers.
We have family gatherings. If mommy, Nana, and your aunt there, who cooking? Not me.
All true.